Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Budget Freedom Books. My name is Hristo.
And my name is Jessica, and we are here today with another budgeting e-commerce video for you.
That's
And we had a really good question from one of the commenters the other day, and they were asking, how do I handle the cost of returns, especially international returns? So I'm going to go ahead and go over to my computer now. Krista and I will be there talking in the background, but you won't see our beautiful faces. But we're going to show you on the computer my costing sheet and how I handle returns, the cost of returns, because this is a very, very important topic, especially these days, like within the EU or on certain marketplaces. They require you to offer free returns, and this is a very, very costly thing that affects your business selling online.
Right.
So you do need to add it into your cost per product so that you're not out of pocket. I think that's about all I'm going to say right now, and the rest we will show you on screen.
So let's go to the computer. See you there.
Remember to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification. And leave us comments, guys. We want to hear what you're thinking. It's really awesome to interact with you.
Yes, thanks. See you there.
Okay, hello everybody. We are at our computer.
I'm here. Hello.
This is my costing sheet. I'm sure it looks extremely overwhelming to you guys, but let's be honest, selling online, it's fun and there are easy parts to it, but when it does come to costing, it's intricate and it needs to be done correctly. Otherwise, you are not going to be making the profit that you need to be making. So I will come back to this sheet in a second. Let's go ahead and head over to my control sheet over here, which I'll just quickly rename. I forgot to rename this. I'll just call it control costing. Okay, so what I want to do here is put breakdowns for my costing, put some things in here that I want to include in my costing, but that I don't necessarily want to have here in detail. Okay, so for this video, we're only going to be looking at the returns. In the next video, I will be showing you the overall costing. So I'm going to try to break this down and make it simpler for you to follow. If you guys need help, I am available to help you. I'm going to make it as easy as I can. I'll try to explain it the best that I can. But obviously, if you're having problems, please just reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help. There's only so much I can do to make it simple, I guess. Do you understand it now?
Yes, I understand it, because when I want a price for something, I just say, Jessica, how much should we sell this? And she makes it for me. So yes, it's simple for me.
Okay,
I do
so
understand
you still
it.
don't get it. Okay, so here to show you, if we want to break down our returns, you see I made a little column here called returns. And the way that I have found to handle the cost of our returns the best way so far, and it's never going to be 100% solution, because you just don't know how many returns you're going to get.
That's true.
That is the point. There is and this isn't all costing. I've done costing for hotels and for law firms and for many different businesses, and with costing there is always a variable in there, and you just got to try to get as close to the number as possible. And that's going to take a huge hit out of your profit. It's going to save you from taking a huge hit out of your profit. Whereas if you don't do this, then you're just going to take that whole expense out of your profit, and it's going to hurt a lot more. So if you look at it from that point of view, if you're even out by $1,000, I'd rather be out by $1,000 than out by 10,000. So we have enough data to calculate how many returns we're going to get on average every year. If you've been running your business for a few years, you should know on average how many returns you get, because you'll either be using a return company or you'll have your returns, and you should have some kind of data to know on a yearly basis on average how many returns are you getting. So depending on how many years you're in business, if you're only in business 1 year, obviously you only have that to work off of. If you're in business 2 or 3 years, I would take the average of those years. I wouldn't just work on the year before, because years go up and down.
Yeah.
So that's what I do with our business, is I average it. I go 3 years back and I average it. I don't think you need to go more than 3 years back, because online selling is so versatile. that going back 4 or 5 years or 6 or 7 years, it really just doesn't help. It complicates things. You can even do 2 years if you really want to. With e-commerce, I've found that that is a good judge, a good place to judge things off of, because things do just change so randomly.
Hmm.
But our returns have been pretty consistent.
Yeah.
And then you can also always look up online, if you're just starting your business, you can look up your industry and you can look up what is the average returns for online sellers. Um, clothing, they'll tell you it's 30 to 40%. Shoes, I think, are even higher. It's like 50 to 60% return rate. Um, Electronics, I'm not sure, but all these statistics are out there. So if you are brand new at it, you can look up the percentage and then calculate it. Again, if you don't know how many sales that you're going to have, it's really going to be a guessing game for you, and that is just part of your first year in business. And you can just calculate something in there so you don't take as big a hit, and then after a year has gone by, you can adjust that. You could do quarterly adjustments to your prices, so you could review it after a quarter of selling, a quarter, which is 3 months, and you could say how many sales do we have, how many returns we get, and do an average like that. But then you would have to be changing your prices every quarter, and that's not really good. We do a once a year price change in actually right about this time in September, because DHL puts up their prices every year 5%. Sorry. Um, and if any of our other costs increase or decrease, we basically just let it go until September. And then we do a once a year reevaluation of our pricing costing, make sure that we're still happy with the profit that we're making on all the products. And we do a price change once a year. Because especially like on marketplaces like Amazon, your products get listed, and every time you change prices, they do have to re-index into the algorithm. It's not a big deal. It's not like adding a brand new product, but it does have to re-index. And also, you want to build you want to build, trust with your customer and consistency. So if your customer is coming back to your shop and they're seeing that your prices are changing every 3 months, that's not going to make them feel very confident and very, like you're being very transparent with your business. So you don't want to change prices constantly because of this. Excuse me. Okay, so going back to our returns here. So let's say on average, you say, I'm going to sell on average 5,000 parcels a year. Okay, and I'll just make myself a little note here so I know what this is for. So 5,000 parcels a year is what I'm going to sell. I'm going to expect 500 returns out of that 5,000. Okay. So then I'm going to say, all right, the cost of shipping both ways. Now this again can get complicated because, okay, with us, we have a DHL contract, so our cost of shipping is pretty much the same everywhere to the main countries we sell to. Then we have rest of world, which is much more expensive. But I just don't worry about that. We don't have many returns from rest of the world. We don't sell to most of the rest of the world. So if I have 2 or 3 from that situation, I'm not going to bother with it in my shipping. For Europe and for US, the prices are pretty much the same. So I would say that my cost one way is 10 euros. So return shipping, if I had to pay for a product to go to somebody and then return it to me, that would be 20 euros would be my cost of shipping both ways. So then I would want to take my cost of shipping times the returns that I expect to get in the year, and that would give me my yearly total. Okay, yearly return cost total, shipping total, sorry. Okay, so you see these numbers get big really quickly. That's 10,000 euros a year I'm looking at possibly losing on returns internationally. I'm not going to take that out of my profit. So that definitely needs to be worked into the cost of the products that I'm selling so that I can still make some money, because that's ridiculous. All right, other things you need to consider with your returns are if you're using a return agency, what is the cost of a label, cost of basically the way our return company works is when they receive a return from us, they charge us a fee for processing the return. So cost of return fee processing. And then we also have a monthly subscription, monthly return so we have our monthly return subscription fee, the return fee for the product, the cost of the label when you generate a return label, and then you also have your consolidated return cost. This is the cost. So when your return company sends your returns back to you, they normally do it in a box like we do. We get a box every month. And when they ship that box back to you, obviously they charge you that shipping cost as well. So I hope I'm not overwhelming you guys, but do you see how quickly costs can add up? And if you don't have it included in your costing for your products, you're going to be out of pocket. And this is why, unfortunately, a lot of people that start selling online complain that they're not making money, even though they have really big sales. At the end of the day, they're like, why don't I have any money left in the bank? And that's because a lot of these people that sell these programs or, sell you on sell online, go FBA, buy 1,000 products. It's all it costs is your FBA fees and this and whatever. And, they sell it like it's so cheap and like you don't have to worry about anything. I've never done a course personally, but I've seen enough of them and heard enough stories that I know they don't include this in it. And this is critical. To me, I don't think you should start a business without having this set up and without understanding your cost and what you're really going to need to sell a product for, because otherwise you can very, very quickly just throw your money down the drain, because you might buy a product for an awesome price, but you're only able to sell it for $15 and your cost is $12 and you're not able to make money. So it's really, really important to take some time, pay attention to your costing, and then make your business decisions. So for me, my return processing fee is $150 per parcel. So I'll have to say that this is $150 again times my returns that I'm expecting, 500, and then also the cost of the label is another, I think it was $250 times 500. It's okay if I don't remember it exactly, because I don't do a lot of return labels, because you will look up the exact prices and put them for you. My subscription is $60 a month. So 60, and here I'll put 12. Okay, 12 because 12 months in a year. Okay, and then the consolidated return box, again, that's $21.95, and again, that'll be times 12 because I get one box returned a month. Now, if you are getting 2 or 3 boxes returned a month, you'll need to adjust that calculation to cover however many boxes you're getting returned a month. So then we're going to go ahead and want to add this all up here. Okay, so we don't need the cost of shipping 2 ways because that is just information for us. We're going to take our yearly total for return shipping, the cost of the labels, the cost of the return processing fees, the monthly subscription fees, and the consolidated return boxes, and add that up, and we get this beautiful huge number here. Total return cost yearly. Okay, so we know on average, according to our figures here, we're going to spend about $13,000 a year, or euros, whatever currency you're working in, on returns, on an average of 500 returns. Okay, so then what you would want to do is now say, okay, how am I going to cover this cost with my parcels? So I would say, okay, I want to take my total cost divided by the amount of parcels that I'm expecting to sell, and that's going to give you a figure of $259 that you need to include in every single parcel that you sell. And by doing this, by including this cost as part of your costing in every single parcel that you sell, you know that your cost is going to be spread. So everybody that buys a parcel from you is going to be paying for these returns little bit by little bit, so that it will help you cover your costs and at the same time offer the service that you need to provide to your customers, which is free returns, without breaking the bank. Okay, so now that we have our total here, cost of returns per parcel. Okay. And if you want, you know, highlight that, whatever makes you happy. Okay, then we're going to jump back over to our main costing page here. Okay, and then you'll see here I have in this column here, you might want to word it differently, but I have returns and account fees. Okay, so I say that my returns and account fees, this column is the costing for it. Okay, I have my, just to show you my formula here, I have here what I call my control box. So especially when you have like 300 or 400 products here, you don't want to have to go and change this cost for 300 or 400 different products. You can create it as a control like this. So I will, whatever I put in this box will automatically copy to the formula for all the other boxes. So if I just go ahead and say, all right, this box is equal to this amount over here, it copies it over, it rounds it up for me. And you see it automatically changed the cost in this item here. So if I go ahead and just say, all right, look, I have this many more items. Oops, why did I do that? You can see how it copied the return shipping all the way down for me. Okay, and if you see here in my formula, it's equals $D, which this is column D, $, line 5. So this is D, line 5. And what the dollar signs do is that's what creates a control. So it doesn't allow, when you copy this formula down, it doesn't allow this box to move to any other cell. It keeps it always in this D5. So at any time I can come here and I can say, okay, this needs to be 560, and boom, look at that, it changes everything. So I'm going to put it back to what we said, which is we wanted to take it from this control box over here, and then it copies it down for us. Okay. You'll see that all my formulas are based like that. The only reason I have references here is because here I don't have a control, and the cost of my products are different. So if I went just here and started putting in different costs for products, you'll see how it calculates, and it's perfect. So go ahead and delete that for now. All right, and so that way you will know that by doing your return breakdown, doing your little bit of math here, and a little bit of estimating for your returns, and including that breakdown in every single parcel per year, that you're going to have your fees covered. Now, if you don't sell your estimated 5,000 parcels per year, yeah, you're going to take in a little bit less money. But if you don't sell 5,000 parcels, you might not also get 500 returns. So you see how it kind of works on an average. And for us, it's been working. This system has been working really well. Most years we're actually coming out a little bit on top. I'm talking about a few $100, $200-300. We actually have more than what we need because we're charging this amount in every single parcel we sell, and we don't have that many returns.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything that you want to
Well, I
add
think you should tell them if for businesses starting just from, let's say, if the business just started now and they've been in business for like few months, you know, how should they estimate that? What would you suggest about that if they just
I would
start in
say
business now?
a minimum of 10% returns on non-clothing items and non-electronic items.
Okay.
Because electronics and clothing have the biggest returns. So if you're selling toys, or you're selling, you know, house decor items, or I don't know, office supplies, pet supplies, things like that, minimum 10%.
Okay.
But again, like I said earlier in the video, it's so easy to look it up on Google these days. Just look up an average. And you know what? Rather average it a bit higher. Rather, if you see on average on Google, you know, for your category, for your industry, it's, you know, 15% returns, and you feel comfortable, you know, quoting it at 20% so that you know that you really cover your cost. It works out to cents per parcel. So it's not huge, but it gives you peace of mind to know that your returns are covered. And then after the next year, you do that adjustment and you correct it to a more correct figure.
Awesome.
That's all that I would say. I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I hope it wasn't too confusing. Like I said, I'm going to do another video right after this one to show you the rest of this costing website, sorry, Excel sheet here. So if you like what you're seeing and you want to see how I do the rest of the costing and just explain it, go ahead and watch that video next. Please, guys, give us likes and thumbs up and hit the bell notification and subscribe. and leave us comments. Let me know, what do you think of my sheet and of how I'm doing this process. And if you're having any problems or questions in your business, I'll be more than happy to reach out and help you. So thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. We'll see you next time.